Well, no, we haven't laid it to rest. We still very much want to see the person responsible.
Faith Evans, finally admit what we all suspected on Biggie Smalls, and it will leave you speechless.
Los Angeles police are investigating the shooting death of rapper Notorious B.I.G.
It's been 28 years since Biggie was gunned down in LA, and for almost 3 decades, Faith Evans said nothing. No finger pointing, no drama. Just quiet strength, raising their son, keeping it all together while the world spun wild with theories. But now, she's talking. And what she just said? It's flipping everything upside down. He killed him. Not Suge. Not Diddy. Not some nameless shooter from the streets. She said who? Director? Chilling. And the world? Still catching its breath. This is Faith Evans. Not just Biggie's widow. Not just the voice on the hook. She's the first lady of Bad Boy. A gospel-raised R&B powerhouse who carved her lane with platinum vocals and pure resilience. Back in '94, she wasn't even supposed to be in the hip-hop game. She was a Jersey girl singing backup to pay bills. Then Puff signed her, and everything changed. Her debut went platinum, her name rang out, and at a Bad Boy photo shoot, she met him. Christopher Wallace, the Notorious B.I.G. 8 days later, they were married. That wasn't some industry fling. It was real, messy, magnetic, and doomed from the jump. Biggie was blowing up, Faith was rising too. But their lives moved in opposite directions. Tour life, groupies, tension, and then came Lil' Kim. Yeah, that hotel moment. Faith walked in, saw it all. No yelling, no fighting. She just left. But it broke something. The marriage, barely holding on. But there was still love. And their son, CJ. And somehow, they stayed connected, even through all the chaos. Then came war. The East Coast versus West Coast beef wasn't just lyrics anymore. Tupac dropped "Hit 'Em Up" and dragged Faith's name through the dirt, claimed he slept with her. Faith denied it then, and she's still denying it now. But the damage was done. Fans picked sides. The media ran wild. And Faith? She was caught in the crossfire of a beef she never asked for. All she ever wanted was to sing. But when Pac was murdered in Vegas, the fear hit different. She felt it, that weight, that dread. And 6 months later, March 9th, 1997, Biggie gets killed in LA after a Vibe after party. Shot in the SUV, 24 years old, gone, just like that. And Faith? She got the call no one ever wants. Not the press, not the public. The woman, the mother of his child. What did she do? She went to the studio. "I'll Be Missing You," with Puff. And 112 was more than a tribute. It was grief turned into a global anthem. But inside, she was shattered. And even then, something didn't feel right. Big didn't just die. He was set up. Years later, Faith joined Big's mom, Valletta Wallace, in filing a $400 million lawsuit against the LAPD. They believed corrupt cops were involved in the murder. Rogue officers, ties to death row. But the case was dismissed. No answers, no arrests. And Faith stayed quiet. Until now. What changed? A lot. The murder rap doc started connecting dots, naming names like David Mack and Rafael Perez, both former LAPD, both tied to gangs, both deep in the Rampart corruption scandal. These weren't just crooked cops. These were men who walked both sides of the law. And Faith? She knew it. She'd known for years. But it wasn't until 2023, when Dwayne Keefe D. Davis got arrested for Tupac's murder, that the door cracked open. For the first time in decades, it felt like justice might actually show up. So she spoke. In a leaked clip now surfacing online, Faith Evans says it plain. No dodging, no metaphors. He called him, and they let it happen. She's talking about David Mack. And if what she's saying is true, this wasn't some street beef gone wrong. This was an inside job, a setup, carried out and covered up by the very people sworn to protect the city. According to her, Biggie knew something, was planning to speak out, maybe even on the next album, and somebody, somewhere, decided to silence him before he did. Faith even drops Rafael Perez's name. Not the shooter, but part of the system, the network that let it happen, and then buried it. She doesn't sound bitter. She sounds free. like a woman who's carried weight too long and finally put it down. Her tone ain't about headlines. It's about truth. You think she's doing this for clout? Nah, she's doing it for her son, for CJ. For every year she had to watch him grow up with unanswered questions. And for Big, who died not knowing who was really behind the trigger. Faith Evans didn't just break her silence. She lit a fuse. And the question now? What happens next? Because one thing's clear. This story's not over. Not anymore.